So, hello, Weber. I'm glad to have you with us in this hangout to talk about Google Glasses and how to develop a great apps for it.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for having me. I always liked talking to other GDGs. I'm a GDG as well, and I want to share my experience as a glass wearer and as a glass developer. So I think we're gonna get started. If you do have some questions, either shout them at the microphone, but I think it's more convenient. There should be a question and answer section inside the Google event, so you can post your questions there, and I'll try to answer them at the end. But if you do have a question while I'm presenting, don't hesitate to ask. Is that okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Well, as you might see, I'm wearing Google Glass. This is the device. And what I normally do and see when I'm giving a talk is, let me start. So these are the kind of events and people I normally meet, and they're really surprised if I wear Google Glass. And before I introduce myself, I really want to know the people I'm talking to. So, are there any developers out there?
Yes.
Just shout.
Yes.
And I just heard you only have one Google Glass in Tunisia. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's a shame. So let me try to explain who I am. My name is Wiebe Elsinga. It's a really difficult name to pronounce, but when you say just Wiebe, that's fine. I'm a mobile technical lead at a small company here in the Netherlands, and we create mobile applications, Android, but also iOS and mobile web. We try to focus on the different sectors in the Netherlands, but also worldwide. And if you do want to get in contact with me, just use Google+, Twitter, or Facebook. I'm also one of the organizers of the GDG Dutch Android User Group. This means, like your GDG group, I love talking to people about what Google is doing, about Android, about Google Glass. So again, if you do want to reach out and contact me, don't hesitate, and do. Well, let me show you my face again. Well, Google Glass. What isn't Google Glass? It's not a thing of the future anymore. I'm wearing it, so there is already a what is this? A prototype that is which you can buy. You have to be invited by Google Glass to wear it, but it's becoming more real. So what we have seen in Star Trek, where these kind of funny things happen, we see in a day-to-day basis already. So glass is also not something that has anything to do with the military. This is a helmet that is worn by the Apache helicopter pilot to show night settings. And it is a funny thing, but it's got nothing to do with Google Glass. Also, Glass is not a phone. I can't make calls with it. There's no dialing area, no touch, no keyboard on it. I do, however, can answer telephones, but more on that later. There's also not a GPS in it, so I have to use my mobile phone with it. Again, if you see, I have my mobile phone and it's currently connected to my Google Glass. I will show a demonstration later. But because I'm connected, I can use Wi-Fi and Google Maps around. So, what is Google Glass? Well, let me try to focus more. It's actually a sort of weird looking frame, and there's a camera in front, and there's even a camera in back. I will tell you more about the camera later. So if we have a look at the device, it's just a really lightweight little computer that is stuck on a frame which you can use like normal glasses. Again, there's no actually glass inside, and if you might see, if I wear it, you can still look into my eyes. It's just a little bit above your eyes. And if you might see, it's not turned on because there's no light. If I do turn it on, do you see it's turned on right now?
Yes.
Yes. So this is one of the main goals of Google Glass, that it is a lightweight. So as you developers probably know, you want to develop for Google Glass. So what you actually are creating is what is called Google Wear. Google Wear is an Android application or a sort of web component application that is running on the actual device. So I don't need a connected phone to actually have a program running on Google Glass. I can upload it or use the glassware store that you get when you buy Google Glass, and you can run your Glass application. Let me try. What you normally, I hope you can see it. This is the application you can download, and if you turn it on, and if I go to the glassware gallery, these are some kind of applications you can install on your Google Glass just by clicking on it, and it will install on your Google Glass. But again, these are just in a private store that Google owns. But I do want to create my own Google Glass without actually still won't be published on the glassware glass store. So I had a discussion. What is the main reason why Google made Google Glass, and what are the principles behind it? Well, they say Google Glass, it should be comfortable to wear. Because it's really lightweight, I don't feel tired at the end of the day by wearing it. It's not really in front of my face like you see the glass in your screen. The glass you see here, by the way, is a Sony one. I tested with a colleague of mine and we tried to make some cool apps. But again, this is more of in your face, full, and at the end of the day I was really tired because I wore these kind of glasses. Well, it should be comfortable to watch. I don't want to be, I'm a nerd, and everybody knows I'm a nerd because I wear Google glasses. But if you talk to me like for 5 minutes, you probably don't see the Google Glass anymore. It's not it's not interfering with our discussion. So can you imagine wearing these kinds of glasses you see in front of you on a day-to-day basis? Probably the hair will be burned down and my head will be like this all the time. Well, again, it should be comfortable to wear. You can wear it anywhere, every time. I'm not saying that you should wear it all the time, but you can even wear it under the shower. I don't know why, but you can. So, as I said before, maybe I will do a demonstration first. Let me see. So I have hooked up my phone onto this display, so whenever I scroll you can see it is scrolling. There's a little lag in it. Reason why, because I want to demonstrate when I turn on Google Glass. So I turn on Google Glass and you should be seeing, yeah. So if I swipe, there's a little trackpad on the side. So if I swipe, you can see here in the screen everything what is on my Google Glass with a really bad lag. can try to. These are still the things we're working on. That is creating some sort of emulator which you can use. So I'm swiping down my different emails. Let me just do this. We have a camera, so it's much easier to do. Demonstrating these is always funny. So I'm swiping the different emails. I talk to a lot of people. I get a lot of emails. And if I want to take a picture, okay, Glass, take a picture. So this is the picture I took. Yeah, I really want to quit. So, if you do decide to buy, or you're so lucky that you will have glasses, there are some kind of rules that you need to follow. You're not obligated to, but Google really wants to follow some instructions one of the reasons they say you don't want to be a asshole, in this case a glasshole. So there are some rules that you need to take in consideration. If you go to the toilet, to the men's toilet, it's probably a good idea to switch off or just put your glasses on top of your head. Somehow men are really afraid that I will film them while they urinate in the toilet. I don't know why. I don't want to do that. So why would I with glasses on? But again, if people feel uncomfortable, try to take it in consideration. Also, people don't always want to have a camera near, even though it's not turned on. You have to respect other people's privacy, and if they say, well, please don't turn on the camera, don't wear your glasses, do that. Don't wear them at funerals. Don't wear them, let's say, at the birth of your child. Be a little bit more respectful to other people's opinion. If they don't want you, don't do it. Well, let me see. So let's have a look at the technical stuff of Google Glass. There are basically two cameras inside, which I can show you. This is one camera, and you can take photos with it. You can film whatever from the perspective of the glass wearer. But there's also a camera inside here, which registers your eye movement, and it's not really fancy, but there's a function on Google Glass. Say you want to take a picture and you can't use your hand and you can't use your voice. There's a function which you can take a picture while winking. So if I do this, it can take a picture. I've turned it on because if I want to take a picture and I wink at beautiful girls, that's okay. But if I want to take pictures of a guy and I wink, that's a little bit weird for me. So I've turned it on. The front camera is a 5 megapixel camera, which you can use to capture 720p video, and it's a small screen with a resolution of 640 by 360. There's Bluetooth in it. You can use Wi-Fi. So if I'm at home right now, so I can connect to my home Wi-Fi network. So I won't be needing my phone to take pictures and upload it to, say, Google Plus or Twitter. So, what are some general questions I get when people see them wearing glasses? First of all, the question is, how do you get them? You have to be invited by Google first. Google still needs to send you an invite, even though the US markets say they're freely available. It's not really true. You have to make an appointment or get a Google invite. Then you need to be an American citizen with an American driver's license and an American home address in order for you to pay the 1,500 dollars. The reason why Google says we don't want to share it in the US market is solely because it's a first version and they're really hesitant on sharing this with the whole world. Also because of the privacy laws and the political issues they got when they were discussing if they want to share it with, let's say, Tunisia. So basically, you have to be American and have a lot of money to get it. You may ask, how did I get it? Well, I got my hands on an invite from connections I knew, and I used an American service that's if I pay a little money to, let's say, an American citizen, he will buy the Google Glass and he will ship it to me. The downside of that is that the price will go up very fast. It took me more than $2,000 to get the actual device here on my head, and that's including the $1,500 you normally would pay. And one of the reasons I normally got, well, what if I wear glasses myself, if I have prescription glasses? Well, you can get Google Glass with prescription glasses, but you have to pay a little bit more. It's I think it's about $1,600, and they will be tailor-made for you. I think I'm gonna skip the other questions, like how much will it cost, because I already mentioned it, and are you filming me? One of the yeah, because I really want to show you some demo on how you can code for Google Glass. I do want to mention why did I buy Google Glass if they were so expensive? Well, besides that I'm a nerd, I really love the way Google thinks with me about how I want to share my everyday experience. Let's say I was on holiday and I see a beautiful sunset, and what I normally do if I want to take a picture and I want to share it with my family because I'm really impressed by the sunset, I need to take out my picture, I need to scroll to the camera, I need to click on the camera, and I put the camera in front of my face and I click on it. So I'm not actually enjoying the view, I'm actually enjoying the view on my telephone or on my camera. But now when I'm wearing Google Glass, I can just turn on Glass and say, okay, Glass, take a picture, and it will take my picture without actually taking me away from the beautiful moment. That's the same with applications. If I do want to run applications on it, I can. The application will live with me during the day. So let's say you make an application for scanning barcodes because you make an order application. I don't need to have an handset barcode application and need to point it. I just look at the barcode and then say, okay, Glass, scan barcode, and the barcode is scanned and I have all the information with me. For me, that's really handy. Also, I like to eat out a lot. I really love food. But the trend you see when I participate with friends and we get something to drink or eat, everybody's always on their mobile phone, tweeting, Facebooking, so there isn't really a conversation anymore. I just want to have a good conversation with friends without technology interfering with my day-to-day social acting. Again, Google Glass is really good because if I want to see important messages, I can still use it with Google Glass without actually putting my face on a screen and scrolling, etc. So for me, you're being less of a social asshole when wearing Google Glass. So let's talk about developing Google Glassware. You can take there are two ways you can create your mobile application or your Glass application. First of all, there is the Mirror API and there's the Google Developer Kit, the Glass Developer Kit. So let's have a look at the Mirror API. The mirror API is basically you have your glassware. It's a simple application, nothing fancy, and it connects by way of Google to a other application that is running on the clouds. So you can create basically your application in the cloud without actually being on the device. So it's more of an HTTP post respond way of getting things on your glass. So one of the examples is if you want to make if you turn on glass and you say I want to have a message if I start my application and I want to show a message, what you normally do is you have your glass. The glass sends a call to the cloud saying, okay, I want a page or a card, and the cloud knows exactly at what moment the information should be returned, and it returns a sort of JSON object, and the glass can regenerate it into an actual screen. So if you look at the example here, there's and I made this on this link. So if you go to this link and there are some card examples. So you create a sort of a JSON message, and when you run it and you connect your glass to cloud to your application, it says hello Tunisia, or do I need to say, and I can't pronounce that, but so this is one way, but I am a hardcore Android developer. I really love Android. So what I normally want is I want to create, as I do my normal Android application, is by way of Eclipse or of Android Studio. I want to use the SDK, I want to create an APK, and I'll run it on my glass device without continuously posting to a service in the cloud. So what you can do is when you go to the Android SDK manager, and I will try to, let's see if it runs, Android. So if you start your SDK manager, there should be, let me see, the Glass Development Kit preview, and I'm not even updating to the last one. If you download this, you're basically good to go, because the Glass Development Kit is basically additional APIs for using for your Google Glass, for voice actions, for gestures, for creating cards, on top of your normal Android SDK, which you can use to create your layouts, you create your activities or your service, and you can use the sensors or hardware within the SDKs for, let's say, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So, if there are there any questions, by the way? No. And everybody's still quiet and okay? Yeah. So let's start. I'm using Android Studio. So let's start Android Studio and have a look at some examples. I still have half an hour, so that's good. Are there any questions, by the way?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
The GDK is free, but you can get it without have Google Glass.
Can you repeat that again? Because my connection really sucks today.
The GDK.
Yeah.
Glass Developer Kit.
Yeah.
We can get it without have Google Glass.
Yeah.
Okay,
if you can get your normal SDK, you can get the Glass SDK. You don't need to do anything special.
Okay. Thank you.
I have another question. Did we can develop without having a Google Glass with GDK?
Oh, the most important questions.
Yes, because like you know, we have just one glasses in Tunisia, and it seems that very interesting to develop some applications for it.
Yeah. The really annoying answer I have to give is no. To run your application, You do need a actual device. There's no emulator yet. There's no way of hacking. There are some good tries. You can run the Glass software on a mobile phone, but it's really lacking. So there's no. If you do have a good idea and you create your Glass application, run it on an actual device, or you need an actual device to get it running. So you can create your APK, but you can't have it anywhere but on your Google Glass.
Okay.
They're trying to, because for me as a developer, prior to having Glass, I wanted to create a Google Glass application without actually buying the device, because I think it's a lot of money. They're working on it, and that's all I can say.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, do everybody see the screen, the current screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what you see here is there isn't any weird Google Glass code inside the application. So what I did is I created an application which can make a picture and send it by way of Bluetooth to my mobile phone. So the Bluetooth connection or the text view or image view is just the way a normal text view is. These are from the regular Android SDK. One of the things that so let's have a look at the imports if you see anything weird. Again, these are all normal Android classes and imports.
Can you just zoom in because it's very small?
I don't think. Do you see it now? Because I don't think zooming in on Hangouts will work.
Okay.
Okay, I will share some code afterwards on GitHub or Bitbucket, so you can have a look.
Okay.
One of the reasons. No, I think the most important for you, if you do have a Glass application, try to have a look at the documentation of the Glass developer kit. Download the developer kit and try to think how your application should be running on a Google Glass. You don't have a keyboard, so you're probably not gonna type in some stuff. The way you navigate, and let me see. No, I will explain a little bit more. So you have to think of how the user will interact with your application, what your application should be doing. I'm not gonna make an application which I need to type in stuff because I can't. I want to make the application start by saying OK Glass. So these OK Glass, and let me so if I want to have I need to have a voice trigger, so it starts my applications. So these are the voice trigger is really typical of the Glass developer kit. So it took me, I think, 1 hour to figure out how my application should be running on Glass and how I can implement it. If you are an Android developer, you are a Glass developer. It's not really difficult. So download the Glass developer kit. Think of the application you want to make. Have a look at, let's say, the documentation of the the Glass developer kit. Maybe ask around on, let's say, Google+. There is a couple of good communities for Glass developers, and just play with it. Somebody told me that you have a good idea for a Glass application. Can you tell me a little bit more, or is it top secret?
Can you please repeat the question?
You just told me you have probably a good idea for a glass application.
No. I just start to take a look on the folder and some snippets about how to code it. But I'm trying to make it perfect. The idea.
Okay.
It's not clear that yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay. So I was a little bit busy these I went to Tunisia for the DroidCon, and during the DroidCon, somebody asked me, "Well, I have a good idea for a glass application. Could you help me create it?" I said, "Okay." I'm still working on it. It's not because it's difficult, but because I have little time. One of the glass application is when I say, "Okay, glass, show me Mecca," it shows me Mecca and the time I need to pray. Because for you that is really important, and it is really difficult to know which way Mecca is. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm working on the glass application. I'm also discussing this with Google to get it in the glassware store. Um, the actual making of the glass application isn't the most difficult. The most difficult is I do have to have some sort of connection to a service where I can get the coordinations for Mecca. So that's the most challenging part, because I don't always have a GPS connection or a good data connection. So to emphasize, if you are an Android developer, you are a Google Glass developer.
I have an idea for Google Glass application. But
Okay, come on, shout it out.
this is an application for blind people that it can detect the item and describe them.
And you say it's for blind people.
Yes.
I don't think Google Glass should be the correct device for blind people, because well, no, actually it is. Come to think of it, you can use the camera for some detection, and you can use the speaker for interpreting what they see. Well, the only problem I see when you create those kinds of glass is the Google Glass isn't really a powerful device. For one of our customers, they wanted a way to scan the barcodes, and that's fine. But also number plates and signs, and interpret that and search for a database. What we found out is that the Google Glass is getting really hot because it needs to process a lot of information. So again, it's a small device. They're still working on it, but be careful that it doesn't take a lot of processing time. So let me get back to my presentation. As I mentioned before, if you do want to test your mobile application with the Glass Developer Kit, you do need an actual device. Again, they're working on an emulator, but I can't say anything about it just yet. I do, however, want to give you some examples that might inspire you to get started on glassware. And don't hesitate to start and make your APK. I know there's still one glass device in Tunisia, but I am planning a road trip in Tunisia to visit all GTGs. I don't know if it's by the end of the year or the beginning of next year. And maybe I have some surprises for you, but I'm gonna leave it with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, spoiler. So let me give you some examples of some good ideas for Google Glass, and I will turn it like I will play. Is it? Yeah. So what we see more often is Google Glass is making its way to the medical world. There are a couple of pilots already running that doctors and nurses use Google Glass for additional information. You can imagine if a doctor is operating in a operating room and he wants to consult a doctor, let's say, who's in a different country. He can, by way of Hangout, can ask for advice, and the doctor in the other country can see what the doctor is doing. So for me, that is really a good way of helping people and sharing the knowledge even more. Also, because I like food, I need to exercise a lot. And for me, Google Glass is also a good tool for me while I do my exercise. I'm riding a bike. I want to see how fast I'm going, how many kilometers I already did, or even get directions. I don't want to see it on my mobile phone all the time because I do need my hands to cycle. If I do have my mobile phone in one hand and my steering wheel in the other, accidents will happen. So for me, I'm wearing my Google Glass. I know how long I ride, how many kilometers or miles I did, and this is one. There's an application in the Glass store, which is called Strava, and you can use it for your bike or for running. Also, a nifty way is you can do some sort of detection, like let's say and let me give you a good example. I was in Italy and I say, okay, Glass, translate this. I look at the sign because I didn't know what it was. In runtime, it will translate the text on the sign, showing me what, in English, what it says. So I don't need a knowledge of all words that I see, but I do want to have a possibility to do some live translations for me. So again, if you would think of a Google Glass application that might be similar, is tried for the blind, so you can have a look, and the camera can register where the blind people walk, and they can translate it. You have to turn right or turn left or watch out, like you do when an eye-seeing dog. Because I travel a lot, I do want some sort of way of using navigations. So, and of course, because it's Google Glass, there's Google Navigation. Let's say, okay, Glass, get me directions to the airport. Okay. So now I'm getting live directions. I don't need to have a look at my mobile phone or my dashboard. I can still look at the traffic to know if I need to use my brake, but I do have the possibility of getting navigation. Also, there's a voice saying you have to turn left and turn right. There are some things you need to take in consideration. When you create your Google Glass application, think of when and where the user is using the Glass applications. If I'm handling a really sharp knife, I don't want to get a notification which disturbs my focus on the knife. So let the user interact with the glassware, not the glassware with the user. And keep it relevant. What I mean is, try to think of an application that is really handy to have when you don't have the possibility of hands, or you're bound to some sort of constraints. There is a fireman in the US that made a glass application that when a fire breaks out, he goes to the location. He can't rely on his sight because there's smoke inside, but he does want to see the floor map, and he does want to know, if he goes inside, where the walls are, where the next door is. So he made an application that when he goes into the room, he says, okay, Glass, show me the floor plan. the glass recognizes the location and can, if the floor plan is available, it shows you the floor plan. So again, he's relying on Google Glass and not on his sight from the surroundings. So for me, this is really a good example that it is a relevant application you can use. And of course, make it fun. What I mean is don't make people won't use your application if it's not fun or handy. Google Glass has the ability to have some games. So one of the games is clay shooting. It is really a fun and easy game. It's also it was easy to make. But think of the way you interact with the user. So how does the glass wearer and the application interact with each other? A good example is this clay shooting. It is really fun to do. You say, you turn on the game, you say pull. There's a little dot flying away like a clay, like you normally do with clay shooting, and you have to say bang to shoot it. But you have to look at where the clay is actually going. This is really fun. This is really interactive. The only downside is when you do actually play the game, you look really silly. And I made a video of a colleague while we were in Tunisia. He was playing the game in our hotel room, and I filmed it while he was shooting.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. Class.
I was laughing on the back. I don't know if you hear the laughter.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank. Yeah. Good try.
I will stop. So you can see it is really fun to do, but you have to take in consideration that it might be weird on other people if you do these kinds of games or applications. So let me turn off. Does anybody know? I always struggle with this. How you can turn off. Does anybody know how to turn off screen sharing?
No.
Okay, because do you see my desktop or do you see my face at the moment?
Your face.
Ah, okay, then it's good. Then I turned off screen sharing.
Okay. So I have one question.
Yeah.
If I want to create a computer vision application using Google Glass, did I use Vuforia SDK or there is a special SDK to work with it?
No, you use the normal SDK and you download the additional Glass Developer Kit. So it's the SDK and the Google Developer Kit together to create the Glass application.
Even for computer vision?
Even for computer vision, yeah. There are some limitations, but you can use third-party libraries to include inside your Google Glass applications. So there's I
have a question. Really?
لحظة برك.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can.
لا تفضل مروان. Okay, it's Marvin.
How can I control the glass movement?
Okay, so I need to. So what you can do is I will show it. There's a trackpad on the side, and these are tracking. This is basically a trackpad. So if I go to the application, I can swipe or I can swipe down. Swipe down means basically I'm going back inside an application, like you normally have with your mobile phone, the back button. Swiping means I'm going forward or I'm going backwards. So this is one way, so basically using gestures. The other way is I can use voice commands. So if I turn it off, I tap it once, I say OK glass, and I see a different menu. I can have a look inside the menu. Shall I try to... I will try to screencast. So if I look down, I can go to the menu and say take a picture. Oh. Somehow with the new release, OK glass, take a picture. So using voice gestures, you can control everything inside the Google Glass. There are some other ways, like I said, winking. You can do your phones, but I can also turn off the Google Glass by turning my head 30 degrees, like this. And it's not working again. So let's turn it on and turn it turn off and on. It is fun, but trust me, doing that a lot will really hurt your neck. So controlling it with finger with gestures, using your voice commands, and some sort of hack gesture. Does this answer your question?
It's okay. One other question. We can add the Hangout API for Google Glasses.
Again, what do you want to do with the Hangout
Integrate Hangout API for to develop an applications for Google Glass.
Good question. Because
so I'll take the example of we have an operation and the doctor will want to film it and streaming live to other students outside the room, the operation room. So we need, for example, to integrate live streaming. So I'm thinking to integrate Hangout API. It is we can do that for this release, or it's not yet.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can use it. But beware, if you do a lot of streaming, again, the device will be a little bit slow and it will be really hot. But you can.
Okay. So, does any one of you have other questions?
My question is in the development. How can I control the movement? How can I detect the position? For example, in the game, how can I detect the position?
How would you do it with a normal in a normal Android application?
Okay, nice.
It's this no it's a question. How would you do it with a normal Android application? You use
I don't know.
Okay, now what you normally do in Android applications, you can read sensors, and these sensors this is a normal way of developing with the Android SDK, and that same can be done with Google Glass because it has different sensors like the tilt and gyro, and so Google just for reading sensors. And if you can do it on an Android device, on this device, you can do it with Glass. And I can share links for you as well. And if you really are struggle, maybe it can help you set up a application for you or together with you.
Okay.
That would be cool.
As long as I can finish my creating application, that would be fine.
Okay, thank you so much. Does anyone of you have another question? So I suppose Okay.
Can we develop the Google Class application using PhoneGap or native like HTML5 or?
PhoneGap, no.
Yes.
HTML5 you probably will be using not with the Glass Development Kit and the SDK, no.
Thank you.
Okay, because I speak to a lot of Tunisian and your GDGs are awesome. I hear a lot of you actually do use some sort of Cordova or PhoneGap solution. Am I correct?
Yes.
Why, if I'm asked, why PhoneGap and why not Android native?
This is a good question, by the way, but I think that I'm using Quit for mobile. I think that's I don't use PhoneGap, but I think because they say it's the best solution to develop mobile application for different.
So you're telling me because it can target different platforms like iOS and Android, it's the best solution? I'm a little bit hesitated to say because it all depends on the application. For simple applications, it may be a good solution, but more and more people are expecting really good UI designs and good UX applications, and that's a little bit lacking with frameworks like PhoneGap. But that's my opinion, and I do love Android, so thanks for answering the question, by the way.
Yes.
So, did anyone have other questions? So I think that we're finished with the questions. Thank you so much to have you with us for this hangout and to explain how to work with the Google Glasses and to build generally awesome application for it. We hope to have you in other sessions, maybe to talk in more details. But first, we thank you so much to have you again.
The honor is all mine. I really love what you're doing. I really love the Tunisian people, by the way. I was there during the Droidcon and I was so surprised how warm and kind you all were for me. So the honor is all mine, and if it can help you, don't hesitate to ask. Do more hangouts, maybe do a video or do some coding with you, and hope to be in Tunisia soon.
We hope so. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody took a picture. Shall I stay on for the pictures? Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm going. Bye.
Bye. Bye bye.